So, good evening, everyone. So today we're going to have another session here in Krakow, Meetup, and yet another one with me. And today we're going to have special topic. This is one of my favorite IT-related book. I want to tell a bit more about that, how this, how I see it. Here we go. This is not my topic that I actually do from my heart what I think, but this is all about the approach that is described in the book. You may ask me questions how I see that, how it works, but yeah, mostly I will try to give you an overview how the authors of this book think the approach works. And this is Team Topologies. For those who don't know me, I've been here for about, in December it will be 19 years in IT, play different roles in different companies, team sizes, etc., etc. Here in Andersen, I'm solution architect, but I really have big passion in people management, in project management, products, etc., etc., etc. That's why I always interested in such things. Moreover, this is about topologies and people. Okay, this is me for architect to interested in. Then the agenda for today is we'll start from the beginning, like to try to dive into. Then we'll connect it to the most known thing near to this book is convey law. Then we go to cognitive law, team types, interactions, which is core part of the things. And the last thing is more or less practical approach, how you maybe should do that. And the last one, but not least, is things that are not listed as a main approach, but tips and tricks that you would like to know before you start. And then let's meet. I know about, you know about me, but maybe you can tell about yourself who is a team lead here or developer, who is a manager, okay, too, architects, yep, okay, somebody else like analysts, QA engineer, whatever, yep. Anyway, so this is for managers and architects mostly, okay. I think it's most relevant then. Introduction. So we're gonna start with work, as I always do in such meetups. Thing is about team is not something really obvious, and mostly we do not consider big teams as a team, and even agile. Oh, sorry, not agile. Agile doesn't have such things. Scrum defines team and expects team to be a special size. And if it grows more than like 15 people, 12, 20, they do not consider it a team because like it's too big. If we think about it like from the Jeff Bezos perspective, you will have too much pizza for the team, then it's not a team anymore. Okay, then what we can do that next, and topology is the part that mostly technical thing is maybe even from mathematics, right? So it goes to connections and elements that are connected. But now thing goes to how team or teams connected. That's maybe what this book is about. Generally, this is practical guide for everyone else, like every managers, team leads, CTO, CEO, people who actually want to give like a good start for their projects and products, so to organize their work the most effective way. And it also relies on some topologies. Right, so how it was started? People already know about Conway's law at that moment, and they start thinking what actually, how it can be applied, because the law is obvious and it's a bit more abstract. like an observation, and it goes to that architecture tends to be the same as organizational structure. It ended up this way. It not always work like that, or it's not observed on most of the team. And like I would say even more, like if we take a look at the majority of the projects, the team sizes is too small to try to find how this law works. But actually it does work if you consider things like connection between business department and IT department. It's tend to be really bad if they are separated, or there is no such person as a product owner who actually do things right and connect this in proper way. But anyway, it was founded that it works this way when those dinosaurs time, when DBA was separated and there was no any DevOps. So this law is ancient one. But what if we simply try to reverse it? Because like it says people actually build architecture. What a nuisance, right? But anyway, we do the vice versa. So let's try to reverse it. And if they try to mirror the communication structure, then we need to change teams to change architecture, right? Then we need to organize team the way that we want architecture works. And you wonder who did this. You listen to the music. I hope most of you know these Spotify things, and you know Spotify model. They actually did it. This is mostly the thing that lies inside team topology. What how it's actually work, right? Before that, like there was departments, silos, right? So I separated, they organized, and they have no connections. They was highly coupled inside, but they have no connections. There was no dependencies, and interactions between them were not really cool. Actually, I always see it in some countries because they has really low culture level in IT, and like DevOps department, there is DevOps department. They do not speak with developers, and the developers do not speak with business department, so they like silos, and they do not work with each other and hate. Back in the days, developers hated QA engineers. So there was also in silos. Then DevOps practice was introduced for people that actually connects operationals and development. Authors of this book sees this as like DevOps as a profits of their approach, because back in the days, people who runs application and who build application also have no relations. That's where DevOps become a connection between them. Now, this is more structured way. It goes that like people need to organize it in some smaller groups, so like have to connect with each other to make something work, and that's where topology goes. This graph actually should tell you about that. The purpose of this approach is to try to accelerate any change that is in the solution, and the thing that goes next was taken from psychology and like from the science. People actually want to use these things because people tend to be limited by their cognitive resources. And the third one is try to help people to understand where they are, what they are doing, and the boundaries, outlined boundaries, is something crucial here. The next is to help not just for your application to evolve, but for your company to evolve with the application as well. Because like you always see this when application changes or you implement it, it goes to the end. And then what should you do with these people? How it transfer to support part? How it should be done? Or should you transfer your people from one project to another one? etc., etc. This one is one of the crucial thing is evolution. And the last one is, of course, architecture thing, because Conway's law is the law. I said about cognitive load. This one is one of the foundation of the team topology, because we do not simply say about build people and it will build your architecture. We need to understand that the people as the computers, they have their own resources and they cannot do everything at the same time. But they can do anything, which is good. So generally, they took this model from science, which separates 3 types of cognitive load, and they map it to the things that generally developers do. Intrinsic, externus, and German, they goes to different things, which is, first of all, is to understand the domain you're working with. So you simply cannot give your team everything and support everything. So even if you build it efficiently, like you have like the best people in the world in question of agile, let's say, and their skills, and it will go like 25 people and you organize it the way they scale, they cannot do the project the same size, this team. The other one is how your communication, your tasks are organized. So you know this from the lean software development or lean manufacture, when people got distracted or they switch it between tasks, that also creates this cognitive load, of course. And the last one is to apply this knowledge efficiently require you some resources. So if you have really extensive and really complex frameworks or tools to implement, you cannot simply give people to do the same, to hold the same size of domain. And that's what you should have like in your mind when you understand the limited resources. And it matters because with understanding of cognitive load, you understand that people tend to reduce the efficiency if they're overloaded. And vice versa, if they understand where they're working, they become more, like, can produce even more than they do right now. And also give them some insights, because like on the level of project management maturity level that you fit into budget, into quality, and delivered in time, the next thing is you do all these things and be the first one in the market. So you always improve yourself. It's about learning. And team design starts with load design. Who do what? Why? Because generally, if you have limited resources, then you need to negotiate. So you need to talk to people. And if you talk to people, you organize people. So you connect them. That's how people tend to organize. So you put these boundaries, and then people start organize themselves. This is how they actually observe that some team topologies exists. And this is not naturally how this book says, but if you would like to skip all evolution that this book actually gives you, then you can do it yourself this way. What about team types? So if you have these loads, you may assume that there are profiles depending on the load that come to people and how they are typically organized. These types are not limited, but they are mostly common one or suggested one. They have 4 types. With this infographics, 4 types, which goes to stream, platform, enabling, and complex subsystem team. Oh, complicated, sorry. Which is, what is a stream aligner team? This is the most common known team, which like starts with the word stream. Actually, most of you, I suppose, know. That's actually when you talk to people in the project where it's multiple teams, they not name it as a teams, but streams. That's where it goes. Because stream is the like stream of features. they implement. And we're always talking about like release train or something like that. So people work on this part, but not on the product, because product can be really huge. So we separate into streams, and stream can start, stream can stop. And it focuses on this part of the solution, which gives them bound over domain, and they have this simple goal. They tend to not depend on others in ideal world, except some things. This is the most known to implement things, but we can simply stop here and say, okay, this is the only thing that exists in the team topology, but it doesn't work like that. So if we keep it as a main part, there is always question what's left, and left is the three other things. The next is enabling team, which is the general implementation of a special team that shares knowledge, expertise, and mentors others. Generally, there are teams like competency centers or someone who can come to your team and solve your problem. But if they're doing these things with you, they may have like conflict with you because you are focused on your part and they have to learn. That's why they have to do it the other way. So they mostly suggested to consult. And this way they reduce cognitive load, because they bring with some expertise learned from outside of the world, from the, let's say, different domains can be here as like a technology, approaches, etc. So like you may even consider Scrum Master Guild come to your team to establish proper Scrum, or there is guys who knows how to build better UI UX. They also come to you and try to improve your stack. Other stuff, people who come to your team and try to optimize your SQL requests as well. Not every developers nowadays should understand what is explained, but lots of people have to write backend. So this one have to be like a consultant on competency center. But what's about others who is gonna work on other stuff? So this is a complicated subsystem. Generally, what I think that previously all stream aligned work was actually organized as complicated subsystem team. So they simply keep their own stuff, implement, and do not share with everyone because knowledge is too hard to obtain. That's where the complicated subsystem goes. So they simply concentrate on something that is really hard for everyone else to be onboarded, and there is no necessity to do it as a stream, because like generally your task is something simple, you produce it. But this one is more or less like a project, you build it, you stop, and you try to focus them on a specific job. This is really technical focused and less on the business, or business is something really specific. Back in the days, it was building on Oracle cloud infrastructure. We built video streaming without taking a really costly solution. It was hard to implement, but once it's implemented, like 2 people from backend, 1 person in DevOps, they did it, and then we simply keep it as it is. Or it like a DSL, I wrote and tested with a QA engineer. Really complicated one. DSL was created to transform data from one prescriptions for patients to schedule. So lots of people come with their prescription, and if the prescription changes, it should change schedule. So it was all written in DSL because there was like 200 different cases depending on combinations. Let's say this way. So this is a special force. Like they come, they do, they go. Should you keep these guys in every project? Generally, in small teams, they name it as a key developer, the person who did the all complicated jobs. Then they go, simply have a promotion or come to other team to help. What about that? Actually, I think that part of this, the platform team is mostly the same as stream aligned, and you will see why. It's the same thing, providing something, the solution, but not for end users, but for your stream aligned teams. So they do other stuff like DevOps stuff. They may build some internal components, etc. So they focus on enabling others, but not the instead of enabling features. That's why this thing looks the same as the yellow one, and the product is the platform. You may wonder, in big companies, such platforms even can become a different product. That's how AWS appeared back in the days, because they simply was the DevOps guys who provided for Amazon all infrastructure. Then suddenly it became a product. Why not? And like, since this is a cross-cutting thing that for every team you require, then it's has to be for everyone. That's how they actually reduce the cognitive load, because not everyone should implement this cross-cutting things. This is about teams. Like, teams is like dots in the graph of the topology, but about interactions. These guys typed interaction in 3 different types, which are collaboration, X as a service, and facilitating. Generally, we know these things as words. I can give an example of each of that, because mostly we're working with collaboration. And collaboration is when 2 teams work together to achieve something. This is really a hard thing to manage. It can be like a pair programming. In some cases, we did one day where actually, when we were a platform team, when someone required from the platform to do something, but we overloaded, they simply come to us, get our piece of code, make changes, we review it like people do in open source. That was collaboration. X as a service, the same thing for example for platform team, because people request something, they create a ticket. We have ticket in our Jira board, and like it goes there. We can manage the service requests, and we can do that. And facilitating is, as I said, when someone else come and say, okay, then guys, I will be your manager for the next sprint, or I will be your architect for the next sprint. Let's work together. Let's fix these things. And you're asked to, let's say, optimize your Redis. I am key developer from the other team. Let's do this thing together. Generally, you do not work with them. It may look like pair programming, but this is about knowledge sharing, not about implementing something. Interactions, yep. Oh, as I said, this is about co-creative things, and this one is generally what we would like to have if teams are separated. It's really hard to achieve, but generally it can be done through Jira as well. The one is teaching enabling for the short period of time. Most of the things are short-termed. So you would like to reduce communication to the short period of time. Why? And then I come out of the topic. This is my opinion, because I think authors of this book forgot about communication cognitive load. They simply say that you would like to reduce it as much as you can, because they think that low coupling between team is a good thing. This is their position. Also fine with me. Maybe just because like you may think it from the graphical perspective. If you would like to draw 2 teams like dots, and they are 2 connected, and you will create this really huge line between them, and then the dot become 1 dot. That's why they simply want to reduce it and say, okay, they are not connected. They are really separate. For architects, it's a really cool thing, because once you are separated and you connected with others, now you can think about how you are connected, what services you can provide, how you should be approached by others, and what they should expect. This is API. An API is a cool thing because it gives you a contract how you should work, and nobody else will expect that you do something. In my case, it was like scenario when one of the team requested from the platform team I led a thing, and they haven't provided all details. We asked them to provide details like for weeks, like 2-3 weeks they haven't provided. Then I simply was on a business trip and approached that guy from the other vendor, and I say, okay. And he asked me, when you will do it? And I said to him, okay, please provide us this. And we immediately start your work. Okay, great, I will do it. So this is API. And it allows you to evolve, because once you have this boundary, right? So you can be an object in this dimension of team communication that's moving. Or try to slowly evolve, because requirements change and you need to find your place. Why? Because if you're a streamliner team and your stream is ending, you need to move to some other place, or your API will change to support whatever. How to build team? This is more or less a concluding stuff. There is some obvious things, like you need to first design your teams. Architecture follows, right? So when you have to design teams, when you have more than one team, obviously. When you might have more than one team, in my case, it was when we worked as outsourced company, and suddenly we found that actually we are not working as a one team in this project, but there is client's IT department that will take from us what we do right now. And then they start asking about tasks for them. And then we decided that now, from this day, we have microservice architecture, because they have different speed, they have different quality standards, they have different manager. Then they have different component to implement, because otherwise we won't go. It was historically not just 3 stages. It was a chaos that is organized into silos, the departments, and then it is organized in some streams that people implement, right? And these streams were not connected. Now they become connected. And the last part, which goes to flows, when you understand how these things inside may change, what API they have. So the 3 stages of applying team topology as streams. When you can and do your product delivery, but you mostly can produce your platform teams. Then you slightly move further, because you want to optimize the interactions between your teams. That's where you do this API part. That's actually where we simply in Jira we introduced the service desk. It's not something really complex. It's really simple to do, but we connected them, and then we connected all the issues with that. And the other part is when you understand how to improve from the perspective of your structure. And this one is about metrics, how you see people works. If they have, let's say, big pile of features coming to their team. It's like the general problem with huge teams when they have 4, 3, 5 engineers, but the product backlog is growing, and they cannot simply be on the same pace as others. In what does it actually mean? If you take from the helicopter view on your product development, you will see that your product, your project teams as a one work on not high priority tasks, because only one works on high priority, others doesn't work. They're overloaded, others not. That's why you have to take a look into KPIs and load on the interactions they have. That's for about it and about tricks. Yeah, because every trick starts with limitations of the approach. And if you have long-running products, then you succeed. Or you are the one who was blessed to work in product company and you like it, then you need to think about it. And you have stable domains that have boundaries, and you have really cool culture in Europe, maybe. Then you can talk, it's cool. And team are not really big or really small. And architecture changing because your product cannot simply stay the same. Otherwise, after 10, 8 years of using your product, you need to redevelop it from the scratch, which may be costly. And vice versa. It won't work if you are not continuously running. So you did it and stop. They think that outsourcing doesn't work, but for me, it works. Then if leadership hates agile and want to have a micromanagement, they simply will break everything that you build. And they hate lean because otherwise they will think about not used talent waste. And the managers really don't like talents in their team. They want to obey. And if your knowledge base is not properly designed and domains tend to change every time new things come. And maybe the most worst one is you have really low culture and everyone don't want to speak. They want to just simply take money and get back home. Of course, if there is architecture already designed, maybe you simply should take this architecture and assign people to these teams. You don't have any topology exists. You should mirror it. The other part is what you need to consider when you do team topology. First of all, is not try to draw it, but you need to communicate to people. This is the connections and networking, because you're building wireless communication. And you will see how it works. You may think about it like how you build lanes in the park. Maybe you should start looking where people walking, the trails, and then build it. So the same thing goes here. If you see your DevOps team doesn't talk to the development platform team, maybe they're not connected. Why you should give them one manager, liner manager, so they not really working with two, or you see that you have BA always borrowed from the other team because they're working together. Maybe you should organize BAs in some separate complicated subsystem, I don't know. People who tend to create domain knowledge, I don't know, knowledge base, whatever. Of course, if the architecture or requirements are not set in stone, team topology is not set in stone as well. Otherwise, it won't evolve. The thing is that the third one is you maybe will get benefit if you describe how you should be approach your team approach. It will be great if you put tickets there, please put these things. Otherwise, we'll tell you, read the manual first and fill, please, everything that we require. And if you do it the other way, we won't give you really big benefit. There will be the last slide to photo, the best one. Of course, the first one is logging and monitoring. If people and teams are overloaded, then you will see these. They are dying like your nodes in Kubernetes. And then for that, you have to balance, right? You maybe need to balance your product development, which goes to the more complicated question, which is product architecture. And architecture is the thing that sounds like a magic for business people, but there is architecture for business people. And please stop doing Spotify for every project. Spotify model is cool for Spotify because they did it intentionally and designed it for them. And I don't know how to say it. Like I saw so many. One country really likes the Spotify model. They simply copy it every time. And like use it like to diagnose how your team cooperation works, and they communicate to diagnose where the problem is, and of course evolve it. This is not the one and only meetup from my side, but this is the today's meetup, and there is even more things I've already told here, and even more may come if you would like to. So please subscribe on our channel and put your comments, and you may tell me what you would like to hear or from my side. I started doing things not just related to management, but related to architecture things, because people tend to expect from me architecture things since I'm an architect. And thank you. This is the cheat sheet for you. I think this is the only thing that exists in this book, and other stuff is simply try to explain you these colors and squares and why you should read it. Your questions?
I was wondering if your book, because whenever I look at the taxonomy, right, of the methodology that we're looking in here, it looks like a snapshot, right, on time. And I was wondering if your book is covering what's happening when, for example, a company or an organization is going through a transformation, right? And the right question that, for example, a manager or a director in an organization that would be asking you is that, for example, that slide where we say, let's go from stream, progressing through the maturity. So they're going to tell you, okay, then how do we start over again when the things change, right? How do we go through the change to go back into the circle, like the cycle? Yeah? Because it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen in periods like 3 to 5 years that whatever you build is going to change. They're going to change the directors, and then you will need to be transforming even your own product or moving into other things or ripping it apart. Right?
Yep. That's about technical parts, right? So not every solution lives eternally, right? So we tend to see generations of solution, and we here in Andersen, company who works with others, always see like there is a solution of 7, 8, 10 years, and we need to replace it. If we do this way, we always understand that we need to onboard people and offboard people, how we work with the previous team, right? So there is an approach to work with them. And it's always a unique approach, because we need to get this information, if they're collaborative. If there's someone left actually and they remember how it works, not always. If the technology is lost or they cannot even compile it, or sometimes in troubled times, we have clients that come to us and say, you know, other vendors simply go away and took everything, but we need the solution. Please help us. So you touched a really complicated and really important topic, which goes to organizational change management. So you should work with psychology of the people, how to to deliver idea, to support them, to help them build some specific structure step by step. It's migration plan with implementing several layers of processes. So I have, in my example, a client who have a abusive relationship with the vendor, let's say this way, because they have no product owner role at all. So now we come and we need to, first of all, not saying, okay, you over-engineered stuff. Okay, it's obvious they over-engineered because there was no someone who tell, okay, stop doing these things. Please bring us business value. Stop doing things that you like. Please build things that give us money, right? So first of all, you need to come to them, okay, let's try to enforce some governance about the product ownership, right? Then we try to take a look at the KPIs they have, clean up their knowledge base because they are lost of all knowledge they are developing. They actually don't know about how the project works from the business perspective. Then try to implement more streamlined approach, so because like they have really big cycle of negotiation about what things has to be built, right? So to be more agile, because they do not trust each other. That's why they have this part. So it's from and every time when you do this, you always consume this cognitive load from both sides, of all sides. So that's why you cannot do it simultaneously. And you have the people who involved, they have their own, like, how to say, they don't want to move, they change things. That's why you need to show it. Like the most things that I like, that when you tell people, okay, please do these things, and you will be in much better situation. They say, okay, I'm so overloaded, why you want to add even more? And they don't realize if they do these more things, they will drop other stuff they're overloaded with. So you need to show them and help them, okay, let's do this in 1-2 weeks, and you will see how it works. Doesn't work, you need to think for them what actually went wrong. Actually, I suppose there was organizational change management in one of the expected topics. It will be really cool to tell about it more. I hope I answered. Anyone else?
I just have one follow-up. It will be, because you mentioned this is in the book, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's part of the book, right? One of the things that would be interesting is if there is any specific approach to show ROI, moving away a bit from the technical part of the execution part of this type of project organization. What are the methodologies for demonstrating ROI for executives, or for trying to drive them away from that chaos, right? So we're talking about the part where you're telling that, yes, there is chaos in there. I'm proposing you this. There's going to be some governance in here, but all in all, it's going to be bringing you more benefits, right? For that overhead time that you're going to be having organizing the thing, rather than running in chaos, right? So that is, and actually that is one of the things that is going to be happening very often right now in the market. Because a lot of the companies are struggling economically, especially with the tariffs and all of those things going around. They're trying to shorten in expenses, in cost of projects, right? So they're trying to take shortcuts everywhere. That brings to some type of the generation of this project organization. So the question is, what is a better approach for demonstrating them that there is a good return on investment if we run correctly?
Right, so you should start with raising awareness. And the best thing is not start from theory. Conway's law is something ethereal, and they like, okay, this is cool. What should you do? The next thing is the cognitive load, I think is the best thing. Because like everyone understands that your computer is limited. 100 computers are even more powerful, but they are also limited. And like you always can tell joke about 9 women to give a birth in 1 month. The same thing. So the cognitive load thing that exists. And what you can do is start with describing what people do in each team. So it will be clear. And if you know that they are overloaded, you can do it. You can describe it, how they do it, what they are struggling with, what they actually have to deal every day that consumes their resources. And it's understandable because you don't deal with this mess stuff with lines and topology. First of all, you need to take a look if the people work more than it's expected and others don't. So then you say something has to be changed in their organization level, and then the question how. Then you can say, okay, there is approach. But first of all, you need to like raise the awareness. So they need to feel uncomfortable and they know why. So that's like a pain. It's really hard when you feel really bad, but you don't know why. First of all, you need to have a diagnosis where it goes, where it pains. Like, doctor, please help me. So then you start with like treating this stuff. I can back in any slide if you want to, and have questions somewhere.
No, I would have to go back.
Sure.
Slide.
Yep.
This one, I suppose. Sorry.
This one.
All the apples.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Yep.
Yes. Regarding copying the structures, right? So number 6, don't copy structures. I was wondering, and how to understand. Like, I understand that yes, we can have a project. We can have like I'm from administration stuff, so
sure.
Like, for me, it's mostly like we can have the team which works in this way, and the team could think that the way they work is the most effective way, the best way to work, etc. And I can see all those connections, all those intra-connections with other departments, other teams as well. But like, I can feel that it's not the most effective way they work, right? And like, my question is, if I shouldn't copy the structure, and I see that the current structure, like, I shouldn't copy other structures, for example, Spotify one, other, and at the same time, I see that the current ones are not the most effective ones, right? How could I understand that? Like, it's better to to work this way.
I think I understand. Like, first of all, there is missing word here, I suppose. Blindly. First, yes. And the other one is when you take a look at the evolve, the boundary at time, and you have to learn things, right? If you learn it, it's really from mathematics. If you hate mathematics, I'm really sorry. The gradient method, when you go to the lowest minimum, local minimum, right? So you do this step. But the first thing that people actually forgot about is the first approximation, the starting point. You may start from random thing and build messy things. Of course you can, because you are driven by don't copy structures. The thing is, if you blindly copy structure and you do not evolve, this is a bad thing. If you copy and then evolve it and try to optimize it, and people are ready for this change, then it's good. This is my opinion, because like what they say is simple things.
That's the base tab, right?
Yeah.
Checking, like,
if it goes agile in a team structure.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. One more thing from my side about like cognitive load trends. I'm not sure I get it well. This fourth point, the tips. What do you mean by trend on this?
Let's take a look, because like
I remember like what cognitive load is. Right?
Okay.
But what does trend mean here? Like, that we have more. I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe it was like I said something, because like the thing is, the brain is something to do, and then you have to deal with different types of load that come. Just aware about it. I think it's not limited. They see it from that perspective, because they want to map these things come from physiology to real stuff that's going on in IT. I think it's not one-to-one mapping, but they want to map it like that. Why it is a trend? Maybe because like people nowadays become more aware about that. I suppose not everyone. Okay. Then I suppose this is it. Yep. Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Great.
Very much for coming, and feel free to join us for a small networking and pizza that will be in a minute.
Okay.
Can we see the book?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Like for me, it was really like I just simply modern software development. This is the channel I really like to listen, and they have interview with the guy who wrote this book.
Okay.
And like, oh God, I just simply heard about that, and the next second I ordered that, because like when they start talking about this stuff, I already knew I needed, because like this is what I do.
Yeah. It's interesting. Really.
Yeah, because they do this analysis. It's a bit outdated, because like most of the things are already solved, or they solve the way that now you don't see these exact mistakes here, because other mistakes are here.
Okay, and new ones.
The new ones, yeah.
New ones involved in the AI.
No. Смотри, есть пицца с сыром. А есть пицца вот такая.
Edward,